Hi, everyone, and welcome to Helm's Developer Call of August 11th, 2022. Glad to have you here. We're still in the summer, which is a nice thing, but that means we have a light agenda. We're going to go through announcements, and if anybody wants to add anything to discussion, you'd be the first candidate. So announcements, I'm going to bring it up, but it's Mr. Farina who did it. The Helm 393 release came out on Wednesday. Thank you, Matt. Any issues with that or anything you want to point out?
No, it was a pretty small release. We didn't have a lot in it. It's summertime, not a lot's getting merged and reviewed and going in. So it's probably the smallest release we've had in a while, but it fixed some stuff, including a CVE or bringing in a CVE fix from a dependency.
Excellent. Those are still important. So thanks for being on top of things. If I'm not wrong, this is the last patch release for 3.9 because we have our 3.10 release on September 13th.
Yes, that's slated. You know what we haven't done in a while is looked at the Kubernetes release schedule to make sure that that is still on track and they haven't had the date shift. So I'll take a quick look in the background, but that's what we're targeting. And so there are still a number of pull requests around new features and feature changes. So maintainers, if you could go take a look at those and give your 2 cents and review them, it would be appreciated. Many of them require 2 sign-offs, so I can't do it myself.
All right. One note is that I'll go after the meeting and I'll update the calendar. I don't think the calendar has the next release, which surprises me because we usually do that. But anyway, I'll check. Yeah. I'll check on that.
And for reference, the Kubernetes 125 release is slated for the 23rd of this month. So it's slated to come soon here.
Does that mean we want to delay ours?
No, the 23rd of this month.
Of August. Okay, perfect.
Of August, 23rd of August.
That's
so we
good.
should still have enough time to bring 125 in.
This is great. Okay, thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Anything else from the release?
May I just ask you, or Matt, just to, because I was taking a note there. what was the repo where we needed an additional review?
No, pull requests for this milestone, right? Anything that's larger than an extra small requires 2 Helm maintainers to review it. And there are some medium and large ones in there that need 2 maintainers to review it.
Okay.
All right. This is for the 3.10 release that's coming out in mid-September.
Yep.
Yeah, I stuck 2 PRs up. Hey, folks. Hey. I stuck 2 PRs up in I can't think of the name of it. It's got off the top of my head. I stuck it into the Helm group. So if you get a chance to take a look, they need 1 more maintainer, basically, those 2. So I'll try and go through some of the backlog over next week if I can.
Thank you, Martin. Next item, announcement, Karen, Helm project meeting.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to confirm we are going to do the Helm project meeting at KubeCon. Oh, sorry, I should write KubeCon in the notes. So this is just going to be a 90-minute time frame in a meeting room that we can use. We talked about this at the last meeting about kind of just using the space to like have people ask questions. Maybe if we have time, kind of go into like a Helm 4 roadmap brainstorming wish list session. So I'm just gonna go ahead and request it for Monday because Scott has mentioned that he will be busy on Tuesday. So if anyone has any objections, let me know soon. But yeah, that is the plan right now. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect, thank you. That's all for announcements, but we continue with Helm community in the discussion with Karen and Scott for a meetup.
Yes, I just put that on there. Basically, just the update is that we talked about this several times before, but we were like, hey, why don't we do a why don't we do a Helm meetup, right? Like when Andy's going to be in New York, because we can get some things, done. Might be good timing. It turns out that it is pretty good timing to restart the NYC Kubernetes meetups, and the strategy is to do them a little bit smaller. Like instead of having like 1 to 200 people, like somewhere in like Times Square or like One World Trade Center, which we might still do periodically, but we would have like somewhat smaller groups. So there might be 20, 15, 10 to 15 people. There might be who knows how many. Maybe more will come. But the idea here is that I know we had put some links in our Keybase chat before, or asking folks for hey, do we have good code introduction videos? And it turns out that we do. Martin sent some, and some that Matt had done as well. As well as the Helm Summit ones from before that introduced the code base. Anyway, that's useful so that we can send that to people ahead of time, so that we've got a number of folks who want to contribute but just don't really know how to get started. So introduce them to the code base. They're not really required to do homework, but I think for those who really want to jumpstart, they can, because there are some people who are pretty interested. And then we can just go through the pull request review process and, ideally go over a pull request or two with folks. And that's really it. It's really just an extension of what we did in the Helm Maintainers track last time, but like, all right, now let's do it.
So this sounds really useful, but are you saying that this will happen? It's already planned and it's nice,
yeah.
nice.
Karen is in the neighborhood. We met up the other day, and you might have some other things to say about it, but basically it's like we have a venue. We have connected with Ariel from NYC Kubernetes meetup, because I was going to help him with that at some point. And it just seems like, hey, like Helm's a huge part of the Kubernetes community, and so we could really do this thing and connect them. Was there anything else I'm missing, Karen?
We're gonna try and get the link up today. So if any of you know people in Brooklyn, if they're in Manhattan, they're obviously welcome to come as well. But just I think we'll need some help getting the word out, just because it is a little bit last minute, but hopefully, it'll still work out, since like we are kind of aiming for the local experience. So just please help amplify. We will share the link as soon as we have it, hopefully in a few hours. Thanks.
Cool. Oh, the only other thing that maybe would be good to ask is like, I wasn't sure when a good time for this is. I mean, we're just starting these after COVID, right? This is the first time that the NYC Kubernetes meetups have. This will be basically the relaunch of that, and it's got a pretty big audience. What do you think? Should we like do it at 6 now?
Yeah, I think
what's a good time?
I think 5 would be a little bit early, just because like people are probably still working, and we also have to account for them to get here. So I think 6 at the earliest would probably be best. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we can offline if. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you both. Next item, Philip, HIP 16.
Yeah, so this has now 2 approves, but the problem is it has a change request on the PR, so it's not mergeable basically. So I'm waiting for a re-review there. Yeah, would be nice if, and also for everyone else who might be interested, right? Yeah. I don't say you have to merge it right now, right? If someone else has a look and think there is something missing, then also I'm open to more feedback there. But yeah, now it's like since a month I have 2 approves on it, and yeah, nothing happened anymore. Just probably because it's not in the main repository, right? Then it just gets a bit lost in the community repo.
This is the HIP introducing export values.
Yes.
And just for information, the change request, I think, is from Matt, who had concerns about backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I've got to go look at the details on it. I haven't had a chance to look at it. It's the whole, how do you handle backwards compatibility in it to make sure that somebody doesn't use it and end up, it gets used in an older version of Helm and then silently break its expectations, right? Because the silent breaking of expectations becomes a problem, right? Because there are times where we've done things like we've added in template functions, and if a template function's not there, of course, when Helm goes to render things, it breaks, and you got to get a newer version of Helm. Your version's too old. But something that silently fails is kind of an end user problem, and that's one of the concerns.
Didn't we already validate? Didn't we already added validation to the chart.yaml keys now, right? Didn't we? So that we can't have arbitrary keys, so it would just fail, wouldn't it?
I don't think that one has that arbitrary thing. I've got to go look again.
Okay.
But that may not. It was things that were passed over the internet more or less, rather than bundled up and sent. So your index.yaml file, your plugin YAML file, those were, but something that ends up getting thrown to an archive and then passed around that way is passed in a different manner and structure. And those, I don't know that they're parsed that way. Yeah,
I think as well that it just will ignore unknown keys, if I'm not wrong. That I think that was changed even in Helm 3.3 or something. So actually there is an annotation section in the .yaml where it should go, but I think the documentation even explicitly says you can put it everywhere, but it's recommended to put arbitrary keys in the annotation section. So
yes, that's where we say, and I just want to see what happens with, it's the whole backwards compatibility. What happens when an older version of Helm grabs one of these charts? Because that's going to happen and create a problem, and we can't go change that code base. And I need to review this, and I've had the tab open for a while, but I just haven't had time. So I will try to get to that this week.
Right.
Thank you, Matt. All right.
Yeah.
Any other?
Maybe Matt, if you maybe you can also just call me then, or like drop me a Slack message if you like that, to speed this up a bit, that we can have a more online discussion, not then the ping pong with issue comments then.
Yeah, if I have any comments or thoughts, I'll ping you directly.
Yeah.
I'm just accepting it. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Philip, too. The HIP on the chat, somebody's asking about the HIP. Which one? I lost it. It is HIP 16, which is on the Helm Community 242. That's right. All right. Anybody want to add another item? We are done on the list. Anybody have anything else? Go ahead.
Just an update for what I took on last week. I wasn't able to do it. Oh wait, or maybe I didn't take on the PR review. Did I? I thought I had, but I don't see my name on it. Anyway, I wasn't able to do it. So there's, like, basically like program stuff coming up for like some of the co-located events at KubeCon. That's like really eminent. So the only thing I think we could put me and probably, I know Andy's not on the call right now, but Andy, and I don't know, Karen, if you want to have your name on here too, maybe because we could all be doing it as a team on some level, but the PR review is going to be part of that meetup. So you could throw our names on there again. I just wanted to say the update was that I didn't actually do it last week.
I don't think it was assigned to you last week.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to show me what to do in this next week, part of a exercise before a meetup. We can put our names down.
All right, let's put our names up.
All right.
Is there any way I can help with this?
I was wondering that. Yeah, Philip, because there's you and there's another person that we're meeting, virtually, like on Zoom, and doing these reviews. And that has been great, and want to continue doing that. But I was wondering, wow, could we bring you in virtually to that meetup? And I'm just not sure quite how to do it logistically. But at least you could.
Oh,
yeah.
no, I meant with the PR review in general, right? I
Yes.
guess this event is at 6 in Brooklyn, so that will be way out of my comfort zone.
Why don't we
timing-wise.
figure out like what we want to do for the meetup and then kind of like try it with Philip, like at a time that works for him, obviously.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah.
Philip, would that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure we like get our messaging down correctly and that we can teach you this. Yeah.
Great. We need for next week, moderator Karen volunteered for notes, I believe. Thank you. And issue triage. I will miss the meeting next week. I have a training course, so I can't volunteer.
One sec.
So we need mostly the moderator. I guess that's make sure somebody is there to.
I'm actually going to be, not that this is like a really big deal, but I can't. I'm going to be taking a little vacation in Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
Yay.
for a week. So I will actually not be joining next week's meeting.
So we can leave it empty for now, but if a moderator, if a maintainer is there next week, please jump in for the moderation. One last point, I think, unless somebody has something before I let you go, looking at the calendar, the next release is September 14th on our website, which is a Wednesday, which I think that's our process. So unless Matt or somebody else disagrees, I'll just update the dates for the 14th. It's just one day after.
Sure.
Just I guess I guess Wednesday we had agreed was probably a better time, and I'll put it on the calendar. It's the fact that it's not on the calendar is probably where the confusion came. So I'll just fix that up. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you for coming. And I won't see you next week, but hopefully you have a good meeting, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.